Overtime 89-85, and then lost at Swanee 92-71. Tip taken by Barry, and we are underway, and the Stormy Petrels will come out in a man-to-man defense.
Switching everything. Zigbo defending on the block.
Ellis, number 24, is the one you're going to want to watch. First time down the lane for Owen Hornroth. He comes up with the hoop in the arm. We're going to get a foul called. Foul called on number 1, Uba Zigbo with the foul. And Barry with a chance for an early three-point play. Barry averages 80.3 points a game, and they only give up about 66.5 points a game. This is a well-coached, well-oiled machine right now.
Well, one of the things they do is they defend the arc really, really well, holding opponents to just 28% from outside the arc, and that's something that's usually one of the weapons for the Stormy Petrels, so that'll be something to watch as the game goes on.
Zigbo looking, going to find that one underneath. Benefield had a shot, did not take it. Kemp, and you could see, just as you mentioned, the closeout of Zigbo, about a 17-footer, rebounded by Kemp, and that one's knocked away and stolen. Heading the other way is number 14, Braxton Benham.
Jackson Kemp, a freshman, and that's something he gets into a bad habit. He'll get an offensive rebound, and then he'll lose it on the dribble. He's just got to go right back up with it. In that case, there were 3 defenders there. He needs to just kick it out.
Yeah, and Chase Ellis right there, sized up Uba Zigbo, knocks down a 3, 5-0 early start for the Vikings. Benefield going to drive in with the left hand, and he is going to be fouled. Looks like the foul will be on Riley Costas. Costas doesn't look real happy with it. Comes from a great high school here in the metro Atlanta area. St. Pius, one of the premier high schools around town.
Yeah, that's an incredible program. Good young coach over there. They like to play a high-tempo game, play for state titles. It's a great program to recruit out of. Also, Chase Ellis comes out of St. Francis, another great program here in the Atlanta area.
Yeah, they've got multiple people from the Atlanta area. Obviously, Barry just up the road, up I-75. Benefield able to hit 1 of 2. Stormy Petrels in a little 2-2-1 pressure, and then dropping back into man-to-man. 3 ball on the way. That one's going to come up short. Rebounded, kicked back out. Second 3 ball on the way, and Benefield comes up with a rebound. He's going to be fouled in the backcourt. Looks like they're going to call that one on number 5, Blake Campbell. Sorry, that's going to be on Braxton Benham.
I think it was flip a coin. Both guys fouled. They picked on Benham on that one.
Benefield has kind of split starts between him and Malachi Dooley. Ryan Janai with it out on the wing. Jordan James down low, sizing up. He's going to go in, shoot it with the left hand, no good. Kemp back up with the rebound, and a good job there, Jackson Kemp, getting in the lane and just using the little tip to cut the lead to 2.
Nice tip back. Gets Oglethorpe their 3rd pointer here early in the first half.
Benham with the ball. Looking to Costas. He's going to size up Ryan Janai. Backdoor to Benham, and a really good job there. Jackson Kemp lost sight of the defender. You always talk about see the ball and the man. He saw the ball, he never saw the man.
Yeah, that backdoor cut, you got to really snap your head around to see the ball again. Can't look at your man on that. He lost him.
Barry switching everything defensively. Uba driving down the lane. That one's going to go up and in. Uba Zigbo. Great job there. Looking at the stats for Uba in conference. 5th leading 3-point shooter in conference. Would have probably been 4th had he played the games he was in, maybe even 3rd.
Well, Riley Costas, good defense there, but could not affect the Zigbo at all.
Ball whipped underneath. 3 ball coming here from Campbell, and that is pure. That was really good ball movement by the Vikings. Benefield with it. He's going to kick to Ryan Janai. Janai from downtown comes up just a little bit short. Ryan's made 41 threes on the year, which is 7th best in the conference. And they're going to call an offensive foul there on Chase Ellis. The pass and sort of, I'm not even sure he was trying to screen. He just got in Dylan Benefield's way and bumped him and knocks him off balance.
Chase Ellis going to have to check out. Michael Johnson checking in. Transfer out of Wallace State over in Alabama, junior college program. He's going to D up Benefield.
I'm going to tell you, the strength and conditioning program at Berry must be very good. A lot of very well-defined athletes on their basketball team. Kemp going to drive down the lane, kick it back. Janai with an open three, and that one is good. Bottoms up for Ryan Janai, cuts the lead to 2.
Well, he was off the mark on the first one. He did miss there. Great job by Ryan.
Still switching man-to-man defense for the Stormy Petrels. Campbell going to drive in, and this time lay it up and in. 6'4" junior, averages about 12 points a game out of Cleveland, Tennessee. Just hit a 3, and that time he drives right down the lane to put the Vikings up 12-8. We've got a timeout on the floor, 15:57 to go here in the first half. Stormy Petrels down 12-8.
You know, we talked about how successful the season's gone for Berry. You know, last year Berry won the conference championship, and the second best team in the league was Oglethorpe. And really, I'd say it was 1A and 1B. They were that closely matched. It came down to a really tight one-possession game in the championship game. But Oglethorpe had a senior-laden team that graduated, which is why you see the number of freshmen on our team that are playing serious minutes. The Trey Harris, Malachi Dooley, Jackson Kemp, Mason Kemp,
Jonathan Awoleye.
And now those guys are getting the major minutes. Well, Berry was pretty junior-laden last year, and they've got the senior squad this year, and that senior experience has proven to be the difference. Here early in the game, Oglethorpe 3 of 6 from the floor. Unfortunately, Berry shooting 71% from the floor, 5 of 7, and they're 2 of 4 from outside the arc, and that's the difference here at 12-8.
And you can tell Mick Hedgepeth, their coach, doing a really good job his first year at Berry. But you could just tell the offensive efficiency in which they operate. Every pass and every cut seems to be with a purpose. And they're going to pick up a little bit further out here with their man-to-man pressure. Janai with it, head fake, trying to drive in. Jordan James putting his head down and going to use the left hand and use the window.
Yeah, Blake Campbell all over him there, but Jordan James not affected at all, and James powers it in to cut the margin to 3.
Michael Johnson with it up at the top of the key. It looks like Oglethorpe going to switch into a little 2-3 matchup zone. A good job there. Benefield gets a hand on it. Jordan James comes away. Uba Zigbo going to kick to the corner. Benefield with a 3. That's going to come up short. We talked about in the women's game, Roy, things that guys can or the ladies could work on. For Dylan Benefield, explosive athlete, got to work on that jump shot during the offseason.
Yeah, if he develops three-point range, Katie barred the door because he can get to the hole on anybody with his quickness.
Ball movement here, back up to the top of the key, and that went up and good for Owen Honruff.
That's a pass you don't normally see. Under the basket, right along the baseline, bounce pass to the top of the key from Jordan Kruger, and Honruff knocks down the 3, and that is a key whistle there because Uba Zigbo just picked up his second foul 5.5 minutes into the ball game.
He's going to have to sit down. Looks like we're going to have the hockey line change. Malachi Dooley, Mason Kemp, Trey Harris, Robert Reisman, and Jonathan Awoleye. Reisman with an interesting look today. He went with the headband. Haven't seen that one before. He went back a little old school. Looks like Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro.
That he does. Even has the curly hair to go with it. 6-point lead from Berry.
Campbell looking underneath. Awoleye went for the head fake. Bryce Clark, a 6'8 junior from Furtaw Prep in Woodstock, averages about 6.5 points a game. He lays that one in. That's where you teach Jonathan. Oh, my goodness. Malachi Dooley, who's got explosive hops, tried to hammer that one home and unfortunately came up just a little bit short.
We have seen him in warm-ups. He has got supreme hops, and he elevated there over 3 defenders, got the ball stuck on the front of the rim. Berry's going to inbound under
Johnson going to have it. Campbell now back up at the top. Still back in a 2-3 matchup zone. Johnson drives in unimpeded and lays it in, and suddenly the Vikings have a 10-point lead at 20-10.
Score quick.
Awoleye going to shoot a foul line jumper, and that's going to bounce up and in. Shooter's touch for Big A.
Jordan Kruger saying the ball hit the shot clock, but it didn't. It went straight up and through. We've seen him with a comfortable stroke from the free throw line. He knocked that one down with confidence. A little push off there from Barry. No call. They can't get the inside scoring look. You can see that ball movement really solid. And then Blake Campbell just drives right by Malachi Dooley.
9 of 11 from the floor for the Vikings. 81% so far early on. Trey Harris, he's going to answer the other way. Nice assist there from Malachi Dooley with the drive of the kick. Right in the shooting pocket for Trey Harris, and he knocks in a 3 to cut it to 7.
Well, in the women's game, Rose Delmovich was the player of the game, had a couple big threes. She talked about shooter's mentality. Same right there from number 10, Trey Harris. That was nothing but catch, and it is going up from outside the arc, and he swished it.
Awoleye going to alternate that shot and then turns it over. And Barry going to turn it over there as Braxton Benham threw that one out of bounds. Awoleye altered the shot. Bryce Clark had a chance for a layup. Awoleye kind of made him think twice, turned it over, but then turned it right back over the other way.
Big possession here. They've cut that 10-point lead to 7 with Trey Harris's 3. Just realized how aptly named he is, Trey Harris.
Awoleye just powering under, gets that one rejected, then goes up with the left hand and is going to be fouled. I'm going to tell you, Bryce Clark held his ground. We've seen Jonathan over the last month do a great job with that power back down, trying to back down 220 pounds, and I'm going to say that is a generous 220. I'm thinking more in the 230 to 240 range for Bryce Clark. Clark held his ground, but Awoleye with the stick-to-itiveness to try to put it back in. We got the media timeout, under 12, 22-15 right now. Your Stormy Petrels are down.
Yeah, Awoleye going against the 6'8" Bryce Clark, and just checking in at the table for Barry is the 6'10" Ryan Siegel. So Clark having a hard time stopping Awoleye. They'll bring Siegel in and see how he does against the 6'7" Awoleye for the Stormy Petrels. You talked about the way Barry shares the basketball and they work for the best shots, and that's proving true. 9 of 12 from the floor, 3 of 5 from outside the arc here, storming out to a 22-15 lead.
And it's going to be weather the storm, no pun intended, for as long as Uba Ezigbo sits down. And I wonder if Coach Ponder is going to say, look, I'll do my normal, because he normally in the first half, he'll do 5 and 5 and give everybody about 5 minutes. Do you leave Uba out as long as the game stays within striking distance? Because if you start to feel this one going sideways, you got to get the third leading scorer in conference back in the game.
Yeah, I think that's what he'll have to do. We'll have to see. As long as they keep it within 10, I think he'll ride it as long as possible. Awoleye, prior to that timeout, was saying, hey, if you want to sub for me, you can. And Coach Pounder was like, no, you just keep pushing through. But we'll see right away when they do make that substitution, if it's Brent Smith coming in for Awoleye or if it's Ezigbo.
Awoleye misses the first free throw. Second one, no good. That one rims out. Viking fans next to us, a little heckling going on. It's understandable. Oglethorpe going to drop back into a 2-3 zone here. Michael Johnson with the ball up top. Chase Ellis back in after an early foul.
Putting Costas in that high post. He distributes to Johnson. Johnson buries a 3.
You mentioned at the top they shoot 37% as a team. A lot of capable shooters on this team, so you got to close out on everybody.
Yeah, Johnson shooting 35%. You get 35% or higher, you're a pretty good three-point shooter.
Mason going to shoot a baseline jumper, and that's going to be up and good.
Nice ball screen from Awole there to free Mason Kemp up for the jumper, and he converts to cut it to an 8-point lead for Barry.
Defensively, you've got to find a way to come up with some stops. 10 of 13 so far as Barry. And they're going to call a foul on this one. Ryan Siegel, like a bull in a china shop underneath there, was knocking bodies out of the way. He's going to get a chance to go up and shoot too.
Yeah, and that one goes against Awole. That will be his first.
Siegel from Indianapolis, Indiana. First time I've ever seen homeschool listed.
Yeah, I noticed that when we were preparing for the game. We haven't seen a lot of that this year. I think it is the first in our prep. Siegel, a big lefty, knocked down the first free throw and gets the second. Pretty good for him because he came into the game as a 42% free throw shooter.
Looked very pure on both of those.
I was shocked that a kid from Indiana would be shooting 42% from the free throw line.
Trey Harris off a down screen, going to hit the back of the rim and no good.
Set him up with a staggered screen there, came off the stagger, had the look, couldn't convert.
And I'm trying to figure out, Michael Johnson just missed a layup, and the underneath official called a foul after Jonathan Awole had already grabbed the rebound, and Oglethorpe was looking to run the other way.
Well, he also had outletted the pass,
right.
And it's just, wow. Talk about a late whistle.
Johnson with a chance here. Free throws coming. First one up and good. We are going to have a 5-man substitution. Uba is coming back in, the original starting 5 on the floor. Benefield, Janai, James, Kemp, and Ezigbo. Oglethorpe a lot undersized now. Barry going to match up. They're going to go with Jordan Kruger, and they're going to take out the 6'10" Ryan Siegel. 11-point lead right now, 28-17 your score.
Be interesting to see when Awole gets back into the ball game as the game goes on. We've seen him really thrive against big defenders like the 6'8" Clark and the 6'10" Siegel, seemingly playing better games against taller defenders.
Benefield being defended up top by Ellis. Ezigbo has to be careful. Jordan James going to fire a 3. That's off the back iron and no good. And Michael Johnson comes skying in there. He's out of Ackworth, Georgia. Drives in, 3-ball up on the, that's going to rim out. Offensive rebound taken by Costas.
Ezigbo and James both went up early, and as they were coming down, the ball fell into Costas' hands.
And a backdoor cut there that's laid up and in by number 10, Jake Kraft. And the lead is now 14 for the Vikings.
Great backdoor look from Costas to Kraft.
Like I said, everything they do, Roy, seems to be with a purpose. Good entry pass for Uba Ezigbo. That's a great pass by Jordan James.
That is a beautiful touch pass just over the defender to the high hand on the backside from Ezigbo. There was no help side defense. Ezigbo lays it in.
Got to figure out the defensive end. Barry right now 11 of 15 from the floor. And every shot seems to be wide open, as that one was. Jake Kraft knocks that in. He's out of Dawsonville, Georgia. 34-19, Vikings have the lead. Benefield going to go up and under and no good and rebounded. And here comes Barry. Michael Johnson going 150 miles an hour. Kicks it back out. Ellis with a touch pass. That 3-ball off the back of the iron. Knocked around, rebounded to Barry. Johnson going to get an open step back 3. That's going to come up short. Battled for and rebounded again, this time by Kruger. And Barry will reset. Ellis thought about it. About a 17-foot jumper. That's off the mark. Barry's missed 4 shots in a row and grabbed 4 offensive rebounds. 5 shots, and finally Uba Ezigbo clears the defensive glass, and Oglethorpe heading the other way. Uba with a head fake, driving in. Thought he got bumped there, but he lays it up and in, and the Stormy Petrel's down 34-21. Uba Ezigbo doing well.
We've seen him do this. When the Stormy Petrels need him, he always steps up, and he's doing it right now, trying to keep him in this ball game.
They're going to call a foul on Jordan James underneath. And he's talking about the acting job that seems to be going on from Riley Costas. Timeout on the floor. The under 8 here in the first half, 34-21. Barry with the lead. Roy, that last possession changed the stat pack for the Vikings. They're now down to 60%. That's only because they missed 4 shots in a row, although they grabbed 4 offensive rebounds in the process.
I was going to say their shooting percentage went down, their rebounding advantage went up. One of the things they do really a nice job of is, and when you're facing a zone defense, and a very effective way to attack it is to run somebody from short corner to short corner. The short corner is an area defined along the baseline between the three-point arc and the lane line, and you hover somebody behind the zone, and they've done a really nice job flattening the ball back to the short corner area and then looking to attack from behind the zone defense. I talked earlier about a pass that you don't normally see. They had somebody under the basket right up against the end line, and he made a bounce pass, strong bounce pass, one bounce out to the top of the key for 3. So they've done a really nice job of working the ball against the zone, making the defense defend deep into the shot clock, and then they get the best shot possible and convert.
And one of the toughest things to teach, especially at a younger age, is that standing outside against a 2-3 zone makes you very easy to defend. Cutting without the basketball is something you mentioned Barry is doing a great job with, and it's it's constant movement. That one's going to be turned over. Good job by Uba Zigbo. And Jackson Kemp going to step on the out-of-bounds line as Oglethorpe did a great job defensively there and looked to have a run out and then did not have a run out.
We have one sideline call at least every game here on the Blacktop. We usually favor when it goes against the opposition.
Do we put a shock collar on everybody?
I don't know.
When you get too close to that line, it just zaps you.
Philip Ponder talking to the official there on the baseline, not happy with that call.
Johnson going to drive in, little foul line runner. That comes up short. Kemp with the rebound. Barry doing a good job with defensive rotation. Kemp going to drive down the lane, scoop it up with the left hand and in. That was good patience out of Jackson Kemp. Didn't have the initial break and then slowed it down from there.
Let it come to him. Nice job by the freshman Jackson Kemp.
7:15 to go, down 11. You'd like to cut this to 5 or 6 before halftime. Kemp going to come up with a steal. He's going to go one-on-one, lay that one up, and that might be, they're going to get a blocking foul. Not going to get a goaltend because the ball was still on the way up. Calling that one on Jake Kraft, who slid underneath Jackson Kemp. That ball was swatted from behind. Braxton Benham flying in, swatted that one off the backboard, but Jackson will get a chance to cut the lead under double digits.
Nice play by Jackson Kemp, reading that short corner passer to the top, cut in front of it, and then went to the glass hard to draw the foul. And that time he got the roll off the back and front of the rim.
Blake Campbell checking back in for Michael Johnson. Really good stint there for Johnson. Could tell he's got some great athleticism. Kemp's second free throw up, hits the back iron and no good. 10-point lead right now for the Vikings, 34-24.
Johnson, a great on-ball defender, really pestering the Stormy Petrel point guards. Try to say that 3 times.
And it looks like right now 1-3-1 employed for the Stormy Petrels. Oh, what a great ball fake from Benham. Misses it and rebounded by Kemp. Kemp playing some very impressive moments right now.
How that wasn't a foul, I don't know.
Yeah, Benefield not happy at all. He just got absolutely tackled underneath the rim and no call, and he's screaming at the official right now. Needs to be careful he doesn't pick up a technical foul.
Doing a nice job not looking at the official, but he is definitely communicating to the official.
Janai has that one stripped away off of his thigh. Benham coming the other way. Good job by the Stormy Petrels getting back. Benham just literally led with his left arm.
Fully extended, by the way. Stiff arm.
Yeah, Derrick Henry
No call on that at all. Unbelievable.
Derrick Henry is a little bit, and Uba Zigbo does the exact same thing the other way and sticks the jumper.
He didn't extend as far. I was about ready to go crazy if that was whistled, because Benham was like textbook. This is a foul in the referee handbook, and yet no call.
Stormy Petrels have done a better job defensively over the last couple of minutes. And as I say that, rebound. There's a straight line drive there by Blake Campbell. He missed the left-hand layup, and Jackson Kemp again with another rebound. Zigbo looking for help for Ryan Janai. Those two have played a lot of basketball together. Ryan going to drive in. 5 minutes to go, 10 on the shot clock. Saw that one coming. Oh.
Yeah, that was a freshman pass. Reversing the ball to the top without a lot of pace, and the backside defender just saw that clear as day, cut in, and then threw it down on the other end.
And I'm going to say a good job there by Dylan Benefield to not get a ticky-tack foul. Benham was ahead of him. Ozigbo drives in, scoops it up and in with the layup. Uba Ozigbo.
Yeah, Riley Costas just not able to stay with him now. On the offensive end, Costas posted up Ozigbo earlier, trying to get him into pick up his third foul. Zigbo's been smart and crafty, staying out of that foul trouble.
Benham with the ball underneath, defended there well. Runner in the lane, and that's going to drop. Really nice shot there. Jake Kraft driving down the lane. That floater has become very prevalent in today's game.
Benningfield was in a little bit of a quandary there. He had two offensive players at the top. One of the two cut to the basket. He chose to stay on the shooter outside the arc. In that situation, you got to go with the cutter who's cutting for a 12-foot shot and just roll the dice with the guy outside the arc. Right there, Jordan James loses it on the turnover, and Oglethorpe trails. You know, I was thinking a couple minutes ago, we had a post-game interview with Philip Ponder a couple weeks ago, our last home game here, and we talked about the remaining part of this stretch of the schedule, and he talked about, I remember he said, and then we end up at home against Barry, and we've really got to play our A-plus game. Mm-hmm. And part of that is not having empty possessions, not turning it over. We've seen some turnovers. Kemp's pass, Jackson Kemp's pass that got stolen. Right now, 6 turnovers for Oglethorpe. That's 6 empty possessions that you just can't have.
No, not when a team like Barry continues to shoot, and they're so balanced. Campbell's got 8, Kraft has 7, Johnson has 7, Benham has 6. You know, it's not – we've played some teams this year that you could hone in on one scorer and do your best to take them away. Barry has everybody really clicking. I mean, Oglethorpe's shooting 57% from the floor, and they're losing the game by 12. Getting out-rebounded, out-threed, out-free-throwed.
Yeah, the board's 14-10 at this point, and the 3 free throws and the 3 threes are the difference in the game. The differential between three-point shooting and free throws between the two teams.
Size back on the floor. Awoleye checks in to get it. So hockey line change, except Uba Zigbo still in the game. 3-ball up, and that is good. Owen Honrath, again, another 3-ball from the corner. That's his second of the game. 43-28, Stormy Petrels trailing.
Talk about Uba off the mark for 3. It's going to go out of bounds. Talk about team basketball. It's a skip pass to the far corner, so you got 2 teammates working there, and then the big Ryan Siegel, the 6'10 post, did a really nice job to screen on the backside so that the defender was late on the closeout and gave Honrath a wide-open 3-point look. They're setting it up again. Side screens with the post and the top guard.
They're going to have him open again if he wants it. This time it's Johnson. That one off the front rim, and a great rebound from Uba Zigbo.
We've talked about his strength and that snatch of rebounds.
Uba going to drive in and kiss that one off the window. Thought he got bumped.
Jordan Kruger said, man, I thought I was playing good defense. That guy just blew by me and laid it in.
Dooley in, as well as Mason Kemp, Trey Harris, Awoleye. Johnson drives in, can't make that. Jonathan fighting for it, and it knocks out of Trey Harris's hands back to Michael Johnson. and he ran into a brick wall with Jonathan Awoleye underneath the basket. Barry going to reset. Johnson from the corner. That three rolls around and in.
Well, the biggest factor there was they were going right at it. Uba Zigbo trying to pick up that third foul before the half, and he stayed clean defensively, but Barry had to work for it, but then they converted late in the clock again.
46-30, under 2 to go. Got to find a way to get a couple of scores here. Dooley with a three ball on the way. That one rims out. Rebounded. Michael Johnson with it, pushing the other way for the Vikings. Wide open three. That's going to be off the front rim. Awoleye flies in and grabs that rebound. And Uba going to walk it across on his own.
One of the big keys, we talked about empty possessions. You got to stay within your game. You talked about Dylan Benningfield, not a great perimeter shooter. Malachi Dooley, 22% from outside the arc. You don't want to take an early three if you're shooting 22%, whether you feel it or not.
Trey Harris has that one go off the back rim. He's a little frustrated with himself because he had the open look that they needed. And Philip Ponder going to get a substitution. Uba is gassed. Ryan Janai going to check back in. Also coming in for Barry, number 24, Chase Ellis, their leading scorer, 15 and a half points and 7 rebounds per game. Actually, he is going to check in and will inbound the basketball. 46-30, a minute and 14 to go here in the first half.
Uba Zigbo doing everything he can to keep his team in the game, but it's taken a lot of energy to do that.
Awoleye comes up with a rebound, and then they're going to call a foul on number 44, Ryan Siegel. Normally I'm on the side. I'm not sure that Ryan Siegel was even close enough to foul Jonathan. Awoleye just crumpled. He just, the legs went out from under him. He fell to the ground. Ryan Siegel goes, I was at the foul line.
Well, I do think there was a guard there that clipped Awoleye a little bit, but you're always in such a bad position as a teammate because you don't want to go, that wasn't me, it was him.
Right. Barry in a matchup zone here. Dooley going to kick it out. Harris with an open three, and that one's pure. Trey Harris, his second three of the night, cuts the deficit down to 13. We got a timeout on the floor. Mick Hedgepeth said, all right, that's enough of this. They've sort of figured out the zone and had a couple of open looks. Trey knocks one down. It's 46-33.
I've had teams before where the point guard is not a good perimeter shooter, and so we've attacked the zone just like Philip Ponder's team did there. Put Malachi Dooley, the point guard, right at the free throw line, throw it inside the zone to Dooley, your point guard who's a good passer. He immediately finds the open shooter, in this case Trey Harris, and Trey Harris knocks it down and makes the Vikings pay.
What you want here in 30 on the shot clock, Barry going to have possession. You'd like to get a stop and a basket and run into half with a 5-0 run and some momentum. You know, Barry has shot it at 51%. Oglethorpe's done a good job shooting the basketball, 53.8%. The problem is you're 2 of 6 from the free throw line and 3 of 10 from downtown. Barry 7 of 16. There's your difference. 4 threes and a couple of free throws, and that's how you're down 13 points here in the first half.
Absolutely.
Siegel going to set the screen. Johnson going to drive in. Flipped up and in. Siegel no good. And how about Malachi Dooley? Dooley listed at 5'11", going up against the 6'10" Ryan Siegel, and Dooley grabs the rebound, and now is going to get fouled and go to the other side for a 1-on-1 opportunity.
Yeah, Dooley using that jumping ability, got inside Siegel, ripped it down. Siegel was caught empty-handed and laying on the back of Malachi Dooley to pick up the foul.
Dooley's free throw up, no good. Awoleye comes up with the offensive rebound, and he is going to throw it out of bounds in the backcourt. Philip Ponder grabs the ball and slams it to the ground and said, guys, you have got to calm down.
Yeah, talk about that A-plus game that they need. You just can't have wasted possessions. There they were. They had the ball. It looked like they were going to be able to work for a last shot. Nobody was in Awolaye's lap, and he just hauls off and throws it. Brent Smith checking in for defense here.
10 seconds left on the shot clock, 10 seconds left in the first half. That's going to be a 3-ball up on the way, and bottoms up for Owen Honroth, who has had a great first half. Honroth with another 3. That's his 3rd of the first row.
Well, the conference champion will get in, but I was really surprised looking up to see where they were in the rankings and looking at D3hoops.com and to see that they just moved in at the number 25 spot at 22-2.
Watching them play, I can't imagine 23 or 24 other teams better than them. We say that. They come up with a steal and going the other way. Blake Campbell for the lay-in. It's now an 18-point lead for the Vikings.
Well, the only 2 losses, you said, to Roanoke and Hampton City, 2 really good Division III programs.
3-ball up and air ball for Dylan Benefield. Ball going to be knocked out of bounds off Jackson Kemp.
You come out of the locker room down 16, your first possession turnover results in a layup on the other end. The next possession, you have a point guard who really struggles to hit it from the outside, takes a 3 early in the clock. Not the way Philip Ponder wants his team to start.
And they're going to give up another lay-in there. Riley Costas underneath the basket, and it's now a 20-point lead for the Vikings.
They need Uba right here to make a play.
And on command, Uba with a head fake drives right down the center of the lane and lays it up and in for the basket.
He's such a winner. When he feels momentum going against his team, he just steps up and makes a play, whether it's on defense or offense. And they have driven at will. Philip Ponder throws his hands up like, what are we doing?
And that one was Chase with a lay-in, no problem there. Uba's 7 of 9 from the floor, to kind of echo your sentiments. He's a guy that some days I wish would be more selfish. He just sets, Uba Zigbo just sets a monster screen to allow Jackson Kemp to drive down the lane for a lay-in.
Defense is about attitude and effort and fight, and we've not seen that at all 2 minutes into the second half. Philip Ponder telling his defense, let's go, move your feet.
They're in a 2-3 zone, and it is a very passive 2-3 zone. Backdoor lay-in. Blake Campbell, the recipient of a backdoor lob from Braxton Benham, and the lead back to 20.
It's a classic play against 2 low defenders where you screen literally their backs, and then a cutter comes from opposite wing for the lob. Jordan James scores and draws the foul. Philip Ponder talking, calls his 4 non-shooting players over. My guess is, guys, are we going to fight and play in this game, or are we going to give up? Because they have not defended with any kind of defensive intensity or passion.
Yeah, I believe Barry is perfect from the floor, 4 for 4 so far in the second half. Every one of them's been a layup.
Yep. Yeah, not the way you want to start coming out down to your rival. We know that they're undefeated, but are you going to fight and scratch and claw? We haven't seen that here at the start of the second half.
James does get the old-fashioned 3-point play. Lead down to 17. Benham going to drive in. Floater up. No good. Rebounded there from Jackson Kemp. I'd like to see Oglethorpe push the tempo at this point. James with it. He's going to drive in with the left hand. That comes up short. No good. Battles for his own rebound. Pulled out of there by Chase Ellis. Ellis going to come down. Benham. He's going to get that one blocked by Dylan Benefield, and unfortunately Jordan James has it ricochet off his hand, and he is livid at himself, goes over and punches the wall. Not hard, because that wall is undefeated.
Jordan always wearing his emotion on his sleeve. We talked about player development and maturation. He's going to have to really develop that part of his game.
3-ball up and good. Honroth is not missing tonight. They set the little elevator screen. Yep. It's a classic out-of-bounds play. Janai, the other side, no good. Chase Ellis has it and then doesn't have it. Jackson Kemp did the little bat-down pick and then lays it up and in.
Yeah, really nice job. Jackson Kemp showing some fight there.
18-point lead, 16:35 to go. I'm going to tell you, Honroth has had one heck of a game, and every time the ball is let go, that ball looks like it's absolutely going in. Ball kicked around. Denham going to drive down, 2 on the shot clock. He turns around and again lays it up and in. And Philip Ponder's about to blow a gasket over here. Janai has this one poked away. Recovered by Kemp. Kemp going to dribble it back out, and that one's knocked away. And you can see why Barry is one of the best teams. They're the best team in the league. Defensively, they are like flies at a picnic. They are just all over everything that we're trying to do. We got a timeout on the floor. 15:58 to go in the second half. The Vikings up 62-42.
Yeah, we've seen Barry really step it up here at the start of the second half. Offensively working for great shots. They've been taking it to the hole and finishing on layups. And then defensively, yeah, we got a 20-point lead, but we want to extend it. That's the mark of a great team, and that's what they're doing on the defensive end, is really playing scrappy, hungry defense. They don't really look at the scoreboard, and that's what you want to see from a team.
Hey, you look so far in the second half, Barry 6 out of 8 from the floor. They're 24 of 44 for the game. You're talking about 54%. They're shooting 50% from downtown, so basically getting anything they want.
Philip Ponder, I've been watching. I'm not a perfect lip reader, but really talking about how we have got to get it done on the defensive end, as he pointed down on the defensive end. And that's, again, we've got some young players. We do definitely have 2 seniors out there in Zigbo and Janai, but the Benningfields, the Kemp brothers, we've got to see them. They're freshmen. Are they going to step up and get into the fight and build on something?
James going to drive in and get knocked around for the free throw. You talk about growth going into next year. You lose an Uba Zigbo who graduates, Ryan Janai who graduates. Who becomes and steps into that lead role? Who can be that number one? And I look right here, the guy on the foul line. Jordan James has all the skills. You're going to have to hone in. I think you got to work on the jump shot just a little bit. And then controlling emotion. Figuring out how to play like Uba Zigbo, you never know if he's up 20 or down 20 because he plays with the same look. James makes both free throws, by the way. It'll be interesting when you look at the standings. It looks like Oglethorpe is going to be, if they lose tonight, if Hendricks also loses, Oglethorpe would play Birmingham Southern on the road in the opening round matchup. And then the winner of that will most likely play Barry. Michael Johnson just drives right down the lane for another lay-in, and the lead back to 20.
Again, not defending the paint, not taking away paint touches. They're giving paint touches.
Jackson Kemp from downtown, nice and pure. Jackson's had a nice freshman season. And that led to more defensive intensity. A great job there by Dylan Pennifield. He may have got some body, he may have got some ball. Either way, the pass away, or the shot knocked away. And we're going to get a mass substitution. Uba going to stay in alongside Jonathan Awoleye, Malachi Dooley coming in, Trey Harris, and Mason Kemp.
This lineup gives Zigbo the opportunity to play the guard spot with Awoleye playing the 5. Awoleye will be responsible for Bryce Clark, the 6'8" post.
I'm sorry, there's no way Bryce Clark's 220 pounds. Johnson with it, 3 on the shot clock. He's going to have to rush, scoops one up. And again, and a 3 ball on the way. No good, rebounded by Trey Harris. There, gave Barry a second opportunity. But Harris has it, coming the other way. Uba thought about a 3. Gives it to Awoleye. Now he's going to get an open 3 from the top of the key off the front rim. Great rebound by Big A and lays it up and in. Jonathan Awoleye. High screen, dives down, grabs an offensive board and sticks it back and cuts the lead to 15.
Yeah, a quick start from this 5-man unit. Defensively getting a stop and then scoring, and then right there, Jake Kraft knocks down another wide open 3. Philip Ponder talking to Zigbo about getting out on that shooter.
Zigbo going to shoot that 3 and frustrated at himself, I think, for giving up the 3. But I'm going to give credit there. Bryce Clark set a great down screen to free up Kraft on the previous possession. Zigbo walking off the floor. James back in. Lead 18.
Remember, Zigbo stayed on the floor there in that last substitution. That allowed Philip Ponder to give Jordan James a little bit of a break.
And unfortunately, a great job there. Dooley played the passing lane, tipped it around. Jordan Kruger has that one roll off of Mason Kemp. And the ball will stay with the Vikings. 13:41 to go here in the second half. It is 67-49, Berry College with the lead. And that is just, that's just great offense.
Yeah, that's that cutter behind the screen. Everybody on defense with their eyes up the floor. The guard drives, everybody focused on him, and slipping right behind the zone is Riley Costas for two.
And you see the difference against Barry's zone. More dribbling, not as much sharp cuts and passes. Awole misses a baseline jumper. Michael Johnson going 100 miles an hour. 3-ball from Kraft up, and that's good as well. Philip Ponder going to punch a timeout, and he is not a happy camper right now. Timeout on the floor. Berry College has run now to a 72-49 lead, 13:03 to go. I'm amazed. Roy, we've seen some really good basketball played. Berry's the best offensive team I've seen so far this year, and I'm not sure it's particularly close.
Well, and it's a unit. You know, we talked about that. Our last stat box was from the 16-minute media timeout, and 17 of the 24 baskets were assisted baskets, and 17 assists to 5 turnovers. They value the basketball. They're patient, but they're ready to attack at any moment. There's no players that are wondering what to do or second guessing. There's no tentativeness at all. Schematically, on the backside of that zone, they're really doing a nice job attacking. And what that will do is that back line will creep back a little bit to worry about it, and it'll open up more paint touches. Remember, the half started with 4 straight layups. Now the zone moves up to take away paint touches, and Riley Costas is looming behind it for easy baskets.
10 of 15 from the floor is Berry in the second half, 3 of 4 from downtown. Now talk about Oglethorpe shot it well. We're shooting over 50% from the game, 52%. You're not going to be down 23 very often when you shoot 52% from the floor.
Well, if again, you can't trade baskets when you were down 16 at half. You got to get stops. Championships are won on the defensive end.
That's a great possession. Unfortunately, comes up just off the mark for Trey Harris. That's the first time the ball went in, out, in, out. Kraft with another 3. Air ball on this one. Dooley going the other way. He's going to go flying in and lay that one up. No good, but he's going to draw the foul. Foul going to be on number 21, Owen Honrath. Owen's had a great game for Berry.
Yeah, 4 threes from Honrath, 3 threes from Jake Kraft. Those two have just had dagger shots from outside the arc.
How about this for balanced scoring? Honrath with 14, Campbell 12, Johnson 12, Kraft 12. I said earlier, it's not just one per. You don't hone in. You know, we've seen certain teams, you go, all right, if we can stop this guy, there's a chance to win. The problem is, with Berry, you got to stop every guy that's on the floor.
Yeah, again, at the 13-minute mark, the last timeout, 20 assists on 28 baskets. Unbelievable efficiency. 20 assists, only 5 turnovers as a team.
And it's just such quick, crisp passing. And that layup's going to go up and in. Riley Costas.
Well, and that's what we were just talking about. Ryan Siegel, the 6'10 post, was working his way behind the zone. Awole's got to drop back to worry about him. It opened up the paint, and Costas just put it on the floor and laid it in. Nice job there by Jordan James.
And that's back-to-back possessions again offensively that looked very crisp. The ball went out in. The previous one, Harris just missed the 3. That one, James drives down. No fear of the 6'10 Ryan Siegel. Awole playing good there and tips that one out of bounds. We're going to get the media timeout. 11:43 to go here in the second half. Stormy Petrels are down 74-52.
Little spurts of positivity. You know, you talked about those last 2 possessions, working for the shot. But again, when Philip Ponder a couple weekends ago talked about the need for an A-plus game against Barry, that's what he's talking about, not little spurts of positivity. You've got to do the right things for the vast majority of your offensive possessions, and you have to defend for stops. And we have not defended very well, obviously, with them shooting 55% from the floor, 53, 52% from the arc, now 50% from the arc, still 55% from the floor. So we've just got to do a better job getting stops. You can't trade hoops, especially trading hoops in the second half when you're down by 16 points at the intermission.
You were down 16. You're being outscored 25-19 in the second half. And you wonder at what point in this game, and Coach Ponder said, or we've kind of, not Coach Ponder, but we've kind of talked about, are you going to fight? You can tell the team is fighting. They have not laid down. There hasn't been, a give-up factor. The problem is, as this lead continues to go, where is the positivity? That ball's going to be dribbled in, and that's just a smooth pass from Braxton Benham. Ryan Siegel had great position. Nice little drop-off and a lay-in for Siegel.
Siegel sealed a little bit. Benham with a great drop-off pass. Benham's going to get whistled, knocking Malachi Dooley to the floor.
I'm watching Siegel play, and I wonder why he doesn't play more. He seems to have a really nice game, good size, obviously at 6'10". Kemp going to have it drive in, foul line, little hesitation, comes up short. Looked like he lost the ball as he was trying to kind of gather and pull up for his jump shot.
Nice head fake to get into the paint, just didn't knock it down. Siegel working really hard against Awale. Awale doing a nice job defensively. Got to keep working. It's a 35-second possession.
Another three up and good for Honrath. I don't think he's hit the rim yet today.
Came into this game shooting 42%. Remember, I said if you shoot 35% or above, 35% is the demarcation of a good three-point shooter. He's at 42%. Anything above 40 is absolutely outstanding. And Owen Honrath has shown it tonight.
Jordan James with a nice drive. 79-54. Vikings with the lead. Nice backdoor pass from Honrath. Siegel loses the ball, fighting for it, comes up with it. Hope he's okay. Landed on his knee kind of awkwardly. Really big wet spot where he came crashing down. Honrath again from downtown. And again, nothing but the bottom of the net for Owen Honrath.
Boy, I tell you what, we've seen some good three-point shooting performances against this Stormy Petrel team. We've not seen an individual one like Honrath has had tonight.
Dooley drives in, and they're going to call a foul. Not sure who they're calling the foul on. They're going to call it on Siegel. I think he got him with the body. Dooley will have a chance to shoot a couple of threes. Ryan Janai, Uba Zigbo, Jackson Kemp, Griffin Cherry going to check in as well. Well, say Roy, with 9:47 to go, doesn't look like this one's going to end the right way. It'll be our last game basketball-wise here. It's been so much fun to be a part of this community, and we will do some lacrosse and some baseball, schedule permitting. But we've been here basically for every volleyball game and every basketball game, spent a lot of time in this broadcast position, getting to know these young men and women, getting to know all the coaches and athletic staff here at Oglethorpe, and, really happy to be a part of this. Pretty sure we'll both be back next year, God willing.
We've still got to negotiate that Hawaii trip, though. Yeah. Remember that. Let's not forget that.
Oh, no, trust me, I'm not forgetting. That is 100% going to happen. Honrath again. He actually missed one.
Wow.
And it was right on target, just came up just a hair short. He shot that one from about 27 feet. 82-55 the score. Ryan Janai from way downtown comes up short on that effort. And they're going to lay that one off Honrath again.
Yeah, beautiful pass from Blake Campbell. Took contact from two defenders and somehow slipped the ball between both of the defenders' hips for an easy layup.
They could have called a foul. Campbell got hammered with the body. I think the officials at this point swallowing their whistles a little bit. Janai playing his last home game here at Oglethorpe, dishes off to Jordan James, and that one rolls off the rim.
Zigbo and Janai were juniors on that team that lost in the last possession of the championship game last year. Of course, we talked about, I think it was 7 or 8 players graduated, seniors graduated from that team. These guys are the lone seniors on this one, and here you are, your last home game of your career. You've invested so much time on this floor in practice and individual workouts and coming into the gym at all sorts of hours to work on your game.
Yep.
And you talked about growing to really like and being a part of this program. I ache a little bit tonight that this being the result of the last home game for these two great young men. Not just great players, but great young men.
You know, Uba, unfortunately, and that basket good for Benham. Uba, unfortunately, missed a bunch of games this year on an unfortunate injury where he was making a defensive effort and hit the wall behind the baseline, hurt his foot. His jumper comes up short. Honrath with the rebound. Misses a layup. He's good from 28 feet, not good from the layup line. James has that ball ricochet off his foot. He's going to get it to Ellis, and Ellis gets fouled from behind. Jordan James not going to give up an easy dunk.
That just epitomizes our night. You know, we get the rebound, we're pushing up the floor, we pass the ball ahead to Jordan James, and the pass is low, goes right off his foot, straight on a line drive back to Barry. Chase Ellis went in there for the dunk. Jordan James fouls him, doesn't allow that dunk to go up. Ellis knocks down the first free throw to extend the lead to 30.
What I was saying about Uba losing some games in conference really changed the trajectory of the season. You mentioned going 1-5 in a stretch without him. You're under 500. You're probably, I believe, going to be the 6th seed in conference. Maybe I'm sorry, it looks like you'll be the 5 seed in conference if Hendricks loses. You'll play Birmingham Southern. It's a winnable game. You have to play much better than you are right now, down 87-59. Ellis, he's going to shoot a 3. That's going to rim out. Uba Zigbo flying in for the rebound.
Well, we talked about Zigbo being out for those 6 conference games, and Oglethorpe going 1-5. You look at the 5-8 conference record and realize we were 4-3 with him coming into this ball game, and that just was at a key time, and
it was so
unraveled.
Was that the game that Russ Marr hits the layup to win?
Yep. And like you said, defensive hustle play in transition, and he hits the wall behind the basket just in the right way. If he had gone a little farther, probably would have bruised his shoulder.
Right.
If he came up a little shorter, he would have rolled an ankle, and he just jammed the front of his foot into the wall and suffered a toe injury that just elongated and kept him out for 3 weeks.
7 minutes to go here in the second half. It is 87-64. Conference tournament will get going sooner rather than later, and obviously the top seeds, and the tournament's actually going to start, I believe, this Sunday. The SAA tournament will start on Sunday, obviously to be determined, but it looks like Oglethorpe will be heading to Birmingham Southern. Again, scores kind of holding up if Hendricks loses today. They'll be heading to Birmingham Southern on Sunday. If you win that, you're then on the road the following Saturday, and it's a Saturday-Sunday.
Yeah, and that'll be at Barry.
At Barry.
Well, as long as Barry wins their first-round game, expected to do that.
Which would like to think a team that is undefeated in conference will probably win the 1-8 matchup.
And then the semifinals and finals will be in Rome.
Center right now, the bottom seed at 2-11. Oglethorpe could, if Hendricks wins, fall to the 6th seed and play Swanee.
You know, we've seen Oglethorpe play tough against both Birmingham Southern and Swanee.
Yep.
Rhodes is up by 27 on Hendricks. Excuse me, that's the women's game.
Cherry with the ball coming back down across the court. Griffin Cherry getting his first action of the night.
So Millsaps on the women's side. Millsaps did defeat Birmingham Southern, so Oglethorpe women will go to Barry, who they defeated tonight, and play their first round game on Sunday at Barry.
Jordan James going to come up short on that one, rebounded by Kraft. I want to know what Michael Johnson runs in the 40.
Well, he's a great athlete, isn't he?
My goodness. Kid's getting up and down the floor. I wanted to compare him to Michael Johnson, who put on a show here in Atlanta in 1996, but I'd be dating myself. I think I just kind of did, with the gold shoes in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Janai with it, going to drive. Kick across. Johnson almost comes up with a steal. Ricochets to a Zigbo. That ball going to come up just a little bit short. Ball knocked away and rebounded by Bryce Clark.
Strong take from a Zigbo going against the 6'8 Clark. Just couldn't knock it down.
Johnson kicks it back out. Kraft with a three. That one's going to come up short. Ricocheted to Johnson. Foul line jumper. Tried to go glass. Did not make it. The Zigbo coming up with a rebound. And Griffin Cherry bringing it back across the court. Got 5:15 to go in the home schedule. 87-64. Barry with the lead. Cherry looking for Jordan James. He comes up with it. He's going to lay that up with the left hand and good. You know, when you look at just the stats, Roy, Oglethorpe is shooting 52% from the floor, yet they're down 21 points. 13 threes made so far for the Vikings.
And only 5 for Oglethorpe, so a 24-point differential from outside the
21-point game.
Yep. And that's the guy who's created most of the damage from outside the arc. So then you defend him out there, and he just drives and hits the reverse layup. Tugging on his jersey, asking Mick Hedgepath to give him a breather.
He looks gassed. Honrath has had a great game. 24 points on the night. Kemp from downtown, and that's pure. That's a couple of threes for Jackson Kemp. And while we're kind of downplaying the end of the regular season because it's not going well, the building block is what happens now next week in the postseason. Or actually, not even next week. Coming up later this week is the postseason. Kemp hitting a couple of threes. You may need them in a 4-5 matchup. You really do.
Absolutely. You want to see, again, I want to see that fight. I want to see that defense. It was a 30-point game a minute ago. Now it's down to a 20-point game. They're cutting into that. They're playing hard. You love to see that.
And that, I was going to ask the question, what does Coach Ponder do? Do you, on the last night of a home schedule, keep seniors out there a little bit longer? At 30, do you start putting guys in that don't get a chance to play? But now that you've cut it to 20, you try to take some positive momentum. Hey, if we can play them even in the second half, because there's a chance if you win, you're going to be heading to Rome to play Barry. Figure out what you can do to maybe take something positive for a potential semifinal conference matchup.
Well, and the thing is, John, it's such a quandary because Janai and Azigbo, regardless of what the scoreboard says, they're warriors. They want to be out on their floor against their rival in their last home game. But you also have a conference tournament Sunday, and as a coach, you're a little worried about, again, we saw Azigbo lost for 6 games with a really unusual injury on a hustle play. And so it's a little bit of a roll of the dice, but deep in your heart, these guys want to finish. And they've done so much for the program, you want to honor that.
Right. Man-to-man defense here. And that's going to be laid up and in. A great bounce pass to Riley Costas. Costas went up with the left hand, and he was fired up to make that one. You have to imagine being from close by, being from Norcross, going to St. Pius. I'm sure a lot of his family's here. He wants to put on a show close to home, and he's had a very nice game as well.
Yeah, he really has. Prior to that hoop, 6 points, 5 assists. He's been such a weapon behind the zone.
4 of 4 from the floor. This free throw up and good. 92-69, 3:53 to go. Cherry bringing it across. Mason Kemp in the game with his brother Jackson. And that's a nice little runner in the lane. You know, both the Kemp brothers have improved a lot throughout the year, and they're going to be staples in this program for the next 3. Kraft may have got away with a double dribble there. All kind of stuck to his leg.
Yeah, good no whistle. JT Fullrod there in the game. They definitely like to facilitate their offense through Costas.
Fullrod off the back of the rim, right back out to Kraft. His 3 ball, no good. Ryan Janai comes up with it. Mason Kemp going to bring it across. He'll drive to the foul line, pull up jumper. That's going to be off the front rim and rebounded by Kraft. Trey Harris going to come off the bench. Wonder if he'll go to the 5-6-3 lineup and bring Griffin Cherry out, which we've seen Coach Ponder do a couple of times. And you're right, Costas really facilitates. Johnson's 3 ball up and good. Timeout on the floor, 2:41 to go. It is 95-71, Barry in front.
Yeah, I think I thought Nick Hedgepeth was just making a substitution timeout where you call a 30. He was doing that to get Drew Conroy in. Now it looks like Philip Ponder is going to roll with the substitutions, maybe get a Zigbo and Janai out. I saw Tyler, that might have been David Fisher that was checking in.
Fisher looks like he's going to check in.
He's a senior, so maybe get him on the floor with a Zigbo and Janai.
Do you give, and this is a tough conundrum again as a coach, do you let a Zigbo and Janai leave to sort of a round of applause? Give them a moment or not so much?
Well, no, I think it's really, and it looks like a Zigbo's coming out, and to me it's just the relationship you had. I've had some seniors and they were like, I don't care what the score is, whether we're up 30 or down 30, I want to end my home career on the floor. And you know, those kids honored, I honored that request because of what they gave our program.
Janai's still on the floor, so he's going to have one senior still out there. David Fisher in. Kemp going to have the ball, drive it in. Kicking it back to his brother, Kemp. Jackson from downtown, and he nails that one. So that's 3 threes for the Kemp brothers here in the second half. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, that's 4 for Jackson. Jackson 4 for 4 from downtown. That's going to be laid up and in. Barry just doesn't miss.
Yeah, they've been hot tonight. They're not missing much at all. Folkrod just into the ball game, knocks that down. David Fisher, the senior, they got him a look for 3.
Rolled in and out. I thought that one was going down. 97-74, your score, 1:46 to go. Chris Feeney going to check in. Drew Conroy in the game. He drives, kicks back out. Folkrod with a spin. That one's going to come off the mark. And Fisher going to get in the stat sheet, grabbing a rebound. Kemp coming across with the ball.
I would think Feeney might be getting Janai. Holy deep 3.
Well, Jackson Kemp is unconscious today. He's 10 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 5 from downtown.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, that was Steph Curry deep.
Yeah, he's got 26 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Best game he's had of the year. I mean, my goodness, 10 of 10. When you're feeling that way, you do want to shoot it from about 73 feet. He took that one from what, 32, 33 feet?
No doubt. I've got to, Daniel Manje does such an incredible job. We've had the privilege of working with him. And Daniel put together a incredible notebook for us, and he would be disappointed in us if we weren't referring to the career highs as we see Jackson Kemp tonight. 16 was his point total. He's got, what'd you say, 26.
Yep.
9 rebounds, so he's off the mark on the rebounds, but what a night.
And then he just came up with a block shot. Whatever he had for breakfast, please ship that to the playoffs, to the conference tournament. When you're 10 for 10, do you just not take another shot now with 44 seconds? Because you're not going to have many games you go 10 for 10 from the floor, or do you say, you know what, I'm gonna jack another one and see if I can make it?
I'm definitely gonna age myself now. I wasn't.
Fisher with a push from behind. I'm glad cooler heads prevailed in this one. He fouled number 20, Drew Conroy, a 6'7", 190-pound junior out of Roswell, Georgia, and I think they're going to call a technical foul on this one.
Yeah, intentional. So they'll get the hoop, the free throws, and then, it's been a nicely contested game. Barry's played an incredibly good game. You hate to see something like that late. Conroy missed them both.
Yeah, you can see the Oglethorpe crowd's little victories tonight.
And I'm not condoning the shove at all, but it's 97-77. I'm sure that Oglethorpe does not want to allow their rival to hang 100 on them in their gym.
Fisher and Conroy having some words right now over in the corner. Barry going to inbound it all the way to the back. They can almost dribble out the game clock. Shot clock and game clock different right now, about 7 seconds.
Philip Ponder did not want that. Trey Harris thought that he wanted him to foul. I think Mick Hedgepeth was I think they would have just let the clock run down and give the ball back to Oglethorpe, but that foul allows Barry to dribble it out. Tough way for the season to end, in the regular season to end here. But as we said, they'll be playing on Sunday in the first round of the conference tournament.
Final here from Pinholster Court. Barry College improves to 23.